Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was a long week. That's all I have to say, man. Just getting from where I was to where I needed to be. It was I want to say about a mile to get from where I was to where I need to be, and that mile included like 8 flights of stairs. I'm old, and I don't do that anymore, man. So making that death march back and forth 2 or 3 times a day, man, that beat the hell out of me. But you know what? For what it's worth, I feel better. I feel good. I passed the pain. It's good. Exercise is good, man. So that kind of worked out. I had a lot of time to think while I was out there basically not making videos and just focusing solely on work. So it gave me a lot of time to think and mainly just really look at money and try to figure out how to do more of this smartly. So I'm kind of rolling back the clock on what I usually do. Now, don't get me wrong, man. I'm a day trader at heart. I love it. I absolutely love the action. But the problem is that I'm fighting that right now. And fighting that is a little bit tough. And it feels like I could treat my money a little bit better. So I've been kind of out scouring the world here. And where I say I'm rolling it back, I mean, I'm doing what I used to do when the market was facilitating this type of thing. So I'm kind of going back to LPing and a lot of very specific LPs for very specific reasons, and that's more or less what this video is today, is to kind of give you some of these reasons. Now this is going to be a rolling type of thing, man. All right, situations change, pools change, everything changes. You got to be fluid. So the real important thing here is that you don't get locked in the position. So you don't. I know I need a shave. I just saw myself. Jesus, man, I look rough. Is that you can't get locked in the position. So you have to stay really fluid. Now, I've been going out to all of the Cosmos dexes looking for the good ones, looking for the good pools. And, the way that they have some of these things are built out, particularly over on Kujira, where you have to buy it here, mint it here, stake it here, loan it here, borrow it here, and all that. It's a recipe for disaster. Just give it time. It all works wonderfully as long as the token continues to ascend. But as soon as it stops, it all comes crumbling down. So I'm not looking for those things. I'm looking for something that has a little bit more stability to it and is a little bit more transparent. Now, why do you provide liquidity? Why do you get into an LP? This is where it breaks down in the cosmos, and very few of the talking heads are going to go out of their way to explain why something is advantageous or not advantageous to you. They simply they do what they're told. Sorry, man. Most of these guys are paid, so they kind of do what they're told. And you know what? We're going to start it right here over on Kujira. I've been struggling to find a reason to use Kujira, and I still haven't found any kind of reason. Now, they have pools and pools and pools and pools of tokens over here, and very few of them are worth a shit. There is no reason that you should be jumping into pretty much any of these things, man. It makes no sense. The returns are meager. The risk is extremely high on your end, particularly with the market the way we have going right now. But you have an army of people that are against you, telling you how it's such a really good idea to jump into let's see, the wrapped Ethereum and Manta pool. And look at this thing. I mean, that is an awful lot of liquidity in there. $805,000 worth of liquidity. Now, your return is you don't have one at 0.79%. So that's fun because you get to eat all of that risk for effectively no return whatsoever. But you got to ask yourself, man, who is coming over to Kujira to swap Ethereum for Manta? Who is doing it? Nobody is doing it. Nobody is doing it. That's why your return is effectively zero. You take all of the risk for nothing. All right, that's Dex money right there. That's not your money, my money, anybody else's money. That is Dex money. That is chain money. They're putting it up because they want to get it out there somewhere. But nobody is rushing over here to trade Ethereum for Manta. They're just not. But they'll have the pool, and they have a lot of them. I could keep going, scrolling up and down of tons and tons of pools over here that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. But again, man, when you got an army against you, and Coogee is a very vocal community, but when you have an army going against you, telling you what a good idea it is, then people are going to come over here and they're going to eat it on just nothing but terrible, terrible, terrible pools up and down. Here's your big one, man, right there. All right, Axelar USK. The pool itself kind of makes sense to me. All right, if somebody has USK and wants to buy Axelar, it makes sense. But you're not day trading this with $310 worth of liquidity in there. The slippage alone will bury you. If you don't bring it with you, then you're going to get crushed. Now, they're going to set this up exactly that reason. They want you to, it's the candy house. They want you to bring the money over here because it is an incredibly difficult DEX to use. So once you get it in here, you're more likely just to leave it in because it's too hard to get out. So you're just like, you know what? Hell with it. We'll just see what happens. We'll take a flyer and we'll see what happens. But that is more or less what they have going on over here. And their other big ones, they're going to pair up and down is USK. They love that USK. They're going to pair the hell out of that USK. And I'm not a big fan of USK. I'm not. I understand every chain wants their own stable token so that they can, pretty much set the terms of any engagement over here. But I don't want to get into USK. This pool right here, Arbitrum USK makes a little bit of sense to me. That's not a terrible one because if somebody wants to trade for Arbitrum, which is a good, strong L2, Ethereum L2, that's not a terrible trade. And there's $3.08 worth of liquidity in there. All right, $3. So let's just pretend that one ain't going to happen. But I have been over and over and over trying to figure out a reason to use Kujira, and I just can't find it, man. They're down across the board because people are not actively trading the token anymore. It's kind of slid off a little bit. I know it's going to be $100, but it's not. So it's one of those DEXs that if you don't, if it doesn't get a lot of churn, it just bleeds. And when it bleeds, you're stuck. You're going to eat it. Say what you want. Comments below, man, but I'm 100% right. So that one, it's pretty much off my radar. There's really nothing I can do over there. It doesn't make any sense. The pools don't work for me. And you know what? Good luck, guys. So sliding over to Shade. Shade is... Well, I'm not sure. It's interesting now because Carter got the invite to I think the Atom DAO or whatever. So he's going to help. I don't know what he's going to do. But I wonder if he's going to be dividing his time between that and his DEX. So a few of the pools over here make sense. A couple of them make sense. Now, you got to remember this one is the privacy. Even it's not really private. It's more work to find out the 5 Ws, but it's not impossible. So it kind of makes me wonder what the big push over here. It's Silk. Everything over here is about Silk. Shade to incentivize the DEX, but Silk is where the big push is. That's what they want is Silk. That's what he wants to get out is Silk. And I'm not 100% sold on Silk. So my exposure is going to be very, very small. And if my exposure is very, very small, then there's not an awful lot that I can do over here, even though the pools make a little bit more sense. But they don't make complete sense. They're still just it feels like you're just kind of throwing shit at the wall to see what lands. That's it, to see what sticks and what happens to work. These are incredibly expensive pools for him to for the DEX to maintain. These are incredibly expensive pools with the amount of volume, with the amount of liquidity they have on a couple of these pools and the APR. Now, if you're doing this to scrub your wallet, to clean your wallet, to break the path, yes, it's not a bad place to go. But as far as just leaving your money parked here, man, I'm having some trouble with it. The only one that makes a little bit of sense is Silk Shade, and that's simply to farm it. All right, that is simply to farm it. You're not doing anything. You're not here long. You're here as long as Shade maintains its price, plus or minus a few percent. But when that breaks down, you are out, or you should be. You don't want to ride this one. You don't want to just, oh, it's going to be, I get it, $100. It's going to be $100, but it's not. So you're going to have to be very, very targeted pools over here. The ones that you're looking at, and the ones you're looking at, you're here to farm, period. Silk Shade, perfect example. You want to see the breakdown of it? That's what's paid out, the total APR, and how much of that is paid out in shade, which is all of it. All right, all of it. So a pool like this, Silk Shade, is simply churning and churning more and more shade. Now, they have some nifty things over here, like being able to stake it and, your derivatives and bonds and all that other stuff. They got some neat ideas. But, again, it all hinges around a DEX token that is being minted, and put out more and more and more. So it's very, very delicate over here. Silk Shade, it makes sense to me. The one that makes more sense to me than anything else would be Silk Wrap Bitcoin. That's probably the cream of the crop out of every pool over here. That particular one makes sense for people who want to kind of mask their Bitcoin path. That one makes a little bit of sense to me. And with the way Bitcoin's been running, it's not a terrible pool at 33%. So I want to say that that's probably the pick of the litter. The other pick of the litter would be Silken Wrapped Ethereum. But there's no real volume over here at 70,000 in the pool. That's it. There's no real volume. And if somebody like me was to move in $100,000 or $250,000 or something like that, then that APR is just going to straight down. And the same thing is going to apply to this as it applies to anything else, is what's the APR and what are the tokens paid out in. So, again, it's more and more shade. So the bigger they get, the more tokens that they're going to be minting out. And it going to come back down to value capture. Where are you getting it? Because that money is going to leave the DEX. I know, because I farm it. And I promise you, the money I farm off here leaves the DEX, and we move over to the next thing. All right, I see that video is already a little bit too long, guys. We'll continue this on the live stream, and we'll continue it with the videos kind of going forward. We're setting up a farming circle again. I like to do it, and we're going to show you guys each one step by step, the pools, context, all that other good stuff. So questions or comments, Scott@thepodcast.com. I will answer any and all. And until next time, please stay safe and please be smart with your money. Cheers.